Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to COD Central TV. Here are the Call of Duty guns that are way too overused. Number 10, overused Grau 5.56. At the moment, the current Warzone meta has almost every player using the Grau. It's an absolute laser at both close range and long range engagements. The low recoil on the weapon makes it one of, if not the best assault rifle to use in the game right now in both multiplayer and Warzone. It has a really cool tracer round pack in the in-game store called the Prototype Alpha for those wondering why they keep getting killed by purple lights. It's not a surprise that it's overused considering how good it is at the moment, but it'll be interesting if the gun gets nerfed.
At long ranges. The MP5 is the go-to for close range, with potentially the fastest time to kill, great mobility, and tight hipfire. However, the moment...
Number 9, FR 5.56. The FR is a fairly similar gun to the FAMAS in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It's not extremely strong, but packs a punch depending on where the player hits an enemy. Shots fired above the chest almost always result in one burst or two burst kills, and the weapon has pretty low recoil. The iron sights in the weapon aren't the greatest, but considering the number of attachments in the gunsmith, it's worth messing around with different setups to find something that works the best for different engagements.
I don't got time for that, I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave you alone. Bounty seems like he's flying possibly, no? Or is he not? Yeah, he's close, okay, you know what? I just want to get this gun and I want to show you guys some gameplay.
Number 8, M4A1. When Modern Warfare was released in 2019, players quickly found that the best and most consistent assault rifle in the game was the M4A1. With the right attachments, it had the lowest amount of recoil with the highest amount of damage for playing competitive matches. For some time, it was pretty much the overused gun in the game, until the Grau was added and some other guns got tuned a bit to make it a map more valuable. It's a solid choice and is quite overused in regular multiplayer.
Overpowered. You guys 110% need to run these classes in the game, especially if you're playing on certain maps for rushing, certain maps for distance, and those medium-sized maps.
Number 7, PKM. Light machine guns are kind of neglected a lot in Modern Warfare multiplayer and Warzone. They definitely aren't as great as most assault rifles and submachine guns, but still do a ton of damage and have different attachment options to compensate for their recoil. The best thing about light machine guns like the PKM is a huge magazine that makes taking down squads without reloading fairly easy. The PKM works pretty great on some of the bigger maps in multiplayer as well, but doesn't perform very well in close range engagements.
Absolutely right, it does slap. I've done a video on the PKM before, but not using the setup that he was running. His is very different from what mine was.
Number 6, RPG-7. The RPG-7 isn't used a ton in multiplayer. It's usually only used by players looking to complete specific challenges or looking to anger players attempting to get a tactical nuke. It's Warzone. It's extremely useful with the number of vehicles and helicopters available on the map. It can also be used to finish off kills in a building to get rid of a team camping in a room. When Warzone was first released, it was part of the meta for a while, but has been torn down quite a bit.
All of this to the test to find out if any of this is actually true and to see which one of these RPGs is better to use. And the first thing we're going to take a look at, this is one of the biggest things, this is the...
Number 5, RAM-7. The RAM-7 is pretty similar to the TAR-21 from MW2. Does really good damage and has consistent recoil with the right attachment. The RAM-7 can be unlocked through challenges and is one of the best assault rifles in the game, rivaling the M4A1 and FR 5.56. It's definitely not as good as the Grau and may not be the best for Warzone, but is a great choice for most multiplayer maps. Number 4, HDR. The HDR is often used over the AX50 because it has much less bullet drop. However, it's a lot slower than the AX50, which performs a lot better at close range. The thermal attachment is great for Warzone as well as any scope that can zoom into targets. As long as the shot is above the chest, it almost always results in a one-shot kill in multiplayer. Warzone can be a bit different considering players have armor. Number 3, AX50. The AX50 is kind of like the HDR's younger brother. It's a lot faster than the HDR when it comes to close range fights, and does look a bit cooler than the much wider gun. It's great with a thermal attachment as well as any scope that can zoom in on targets, and works perfectly in multiplayer for anyone wanting a quick scope. The only downside of the weapon, of course, is the bullet drop, which is much harder to predict compared to the HDR. Number 2, 725. The 725 is one of the most annoying weapons to deal with in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. When the game was first released, the 725 had a ridiculous amount of range and power, but was toned down quite a bit through updates. It still is quite a pain to deal with on smaller maps like Shipment and Rest, considering it's almost a guaranteed death if the player runs into someone camping in a corner with it. Number 1, Kar98. The Kar98 is starting to gain some popularity with fans, considering it's currently one of the best marksman rifles in the game that has the option of going without a scope. It's also a very popular weapon in other games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and COD World War II. The iron sights are great for quickscoping, and while the weapon wasn't pack much of a punch as the sniper rifles like AX-50 and HDR, it's still very powerful. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also watch the 2 videos that are on your screen, because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.